one person who is not on this album. I can't believe I pulled it off. I'm still like, how the hell? I don't speak a lick of Spanish up in here, but all of a sudden I heard this Spanish guitar and this orchestra, these strings. I think if somebody was telling me to do that, we should probably lock that person up. You getting an exclusive out of me. Where's the exclusive camera?
Now for an Eric Benét exclusive.
Hey, what's up, everyone? I'm Jamila Mustafa with BET Talks, and joining me today is a man who created classic jams. He's a multi-platinum recording artist, a Grammy-nominated singer, songwriter, and a vocal prowess is known across the globe. He is powered by 3 decades of hits and so many more to go. Joining me is the incomparable Eric Benét.
That was a beautiful introduction. That was a very euphemistic way of saying he good, but he old.
Oh, no. It's a great way to say that you put in the work, you know what you're doing, and every single time you drop a project, including co-stars, we should tune in because it's gonna be another classic. We ain't gotta doubt you.
This is the first time I met you, and I love you already. Your vibe is infectious. I love it.
Okay, well, let's get into this. Now, wanna play a game if you're down?
I love games.
Okay.
I'm a fun guy.
It's called This or That, R&B or Jazz.
Damn, why you gotta start off with a hard one like that, Jamila?
Play my director, R&B or Jazz?
Jazz. Of course not to diminish R&B or to take anything away from R&B, but I feel like one of the main ingredients to the R&B that I love, at least, is gospel music, blues, and jazz. I mean, before there was R&B, there was jazz for me.
As a multi-instrumentalist, do you have a favorite instrument?
That is incredibly complimentary and fictitious for you to give me that compliment. I cannot call myself a multi-instrumentalist, even though I will use the drums or the piano or the guitar to write. I would never allow you, or especially if there's a camera in the room, to see me clumsily fumble through my rudimentary 3rd grade piano or guitar skills. But do I have a favorite instrument? My favorite instrument to vibe on, meaning to just like write, is probably piano.
Love it. A Day in the Life or The One?
The One came at a time when I was a little bit more grown and wise. Day in the Life was obviously the album that put me kind of in a secure thing in the music industry. But I gotta go with The One, because I had growed.
Okay, it was growth in The One, but I want to go back to A Day in the Life. That released back in 1999.
That's crazy,
and that
right?
was just a great time.
You wasn't even born.
I was born. I was young, but I was out here. I was in the soil now. I was getting my stump on.
You was in Pampers.
That 99, 2000s, that was a time. What would be a day in the life? What is a day in the life 1999 versus to a day in the life in 2025 now?
A day in the life of the geriatric Eric Benét. Most of the time it involves waking up early. Like, how unglamorous do we want to make this? Almost 60 years old meant I got up at least 2 times to pee that night. So I'm a little groggy in the morning. I wake up early, like around 6 o'clock. My daughters, Lucia and Luna, got to get ready for school, trying to get them to get themselves ready as much as possible, which you know is a challenge, or you may not know, I don't know. And then I skip breakfast, usually after I drop them off to school. I'll try to get a little workout, try to, get some, in these old bones, try to get them working out in the muscles. And then I'll usually go to the studio and vibe, come up with something for somebody or me.
A Day with Eric Benét, I'm loving that. I have to ask, Earth, Wind, and Fire or Parliament Funkadelic?
Woo! Why you hit me with all these hard-ass questions, Jamila?
Take another sip.
Earth, Wind, and Fire, Parliament. I gotta go with Earth, Wind, and Fire. It's a close one. It's a close one. Come on. I had the pleasure and the honor of being called by Maurice White, the founder of Earth, Wind, and Fire, and who is, oh my God, just such an incredible talent. He called me, asked me to come to the studio because they were working on a new Earth, Wind, and Fire record, which, as you could imagine, like a black boy from Milwaukee who worshiped Earth, Wind, and Fire and Parliament Funkadelic, but to be called by Maurice White to say, hey, E, come on down to the studio, man. I've been paying attention to your career, and we working on something. You have no idea what that meant to me. So got a chance to hang out with Philip Bailey, Maurice White, Verdine, wrote a couple joints. Here's the thing, they didn't use now one of the songs.
Not now. now one of them.
Not now one of the ones that I wrote, but there was one in particular where I called up Maurice White after the fact, since they didn't use none of my joints, and I was like, do you mind if I record that one for myself? And it was a song called I Want to Be Loved, which is the fan favorite.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, but I got a recording of that, Philip Bailey killing that song somewhere.
Come on, now that is a tale. That's a good story. I got one more for you. Being a father versus being a son.
Oh, damn, Jamila. Being a father.
Yes.
Being a father. I mean, in my mind, when I heard the question, which one makes me feel most grateful to be alive, is being a father. The one that makes me feel just grateful how I became alive, obviously, is being a son. I'm blessed to have had an incredible father, an amazing mother. My father was a detective for the city of Milwaukee, and my mom was just this multifaceted goddess. Yeah, so I'm blessed.
How do you continue his legacy, and how do you infiltrate his story with your two daughters and continue that as being a father now, losing your father to a battle with cancer?
Are you trying to get me to get all verklempt? What is the Yiddish word? Verklempt? Who's Jewish in here? Is it verklempt? Oh, okay. You're getting me verklempt.
Listen, it's the that's real, outside of the music. This is what you're doing it for, your daughters. And yes, back to the question.
Yeah, that's a great, I knew I liked you. I feel as though I'm honoring my father's memory by being a person who continues to be willing to grow and learn. Mm-hmm. Like Dad always said, it's not how you fall, it's how you get up. And speaking of my father, I don't even know if I should. You getting an exclusive out of me. Where's the exclusive camera?
Now for an Eric Benét exclusive.
I'm actually working on a fantasy novel for young adults, and I'm not going to get a whole lot into the plot or what it is, but the main character is a little boy whose dad was a detective who is able to tap into his purpose in life while hearing some of the lessons from his departed father. And I'm really looking forward to finishing this book. And that's another way that I like to think that I'm honoring my father.
Yes, absolutely. You would be so proud. Shout out to Dad. Give him
Dad.
this moment.
What's up?
Now,
LT Jordan.
Now we gotta get into the not that star, not this star, the co-star. And all of the great stars. I mean, this is awesome.
I can't believe I pulled it off. I'm still like, how the hell?
Because you gave us a taste. What the hell? Not with the Heliante. Now, you gave us a taste, right? And that was just on the EP. It's like testing the waters. I mean, you always do it for the ladies. People say it, but you really do it for the ladies. You really do it for the ladies.
Right.
And so I read that your manager said, Eric, you've done so many hit collaborations throughout your career. Let's drop the full-length album.
Yeah.
Co-stars, what made you say yes?
Because it made perfect sense. I mean, I think if it wasn't for two young ladies, one by the name of Faith and one by the name of Timia, I don't think a lot of people would have known about Eric Benét. So those were two groundbreaking songs for me, Spend My Life and Georgie Porgy. And I have a knack for finding the right voice with the right song, with the right vibe that I'm about to put into a song. That is a skill all onto itself, to know the right type of voice that you're going to invite into this musical world of a song. Because if it's the wrong voice, it ain't gonna do what it's supposed to do. But if it's the right one, it'll go into the annals of history as like one of the classics.
Yes, what you know about, not a lot of people can really pull off those
Wait,
duets.
did I say annals? Is it annals?
You shouldn't have doubled back on it.
I know, like if I wouldn't say nothing.
Don't be anal about the words.
People wouldn't have thinking about anal,
Oh,
Uranus, Uranus.
Oh my goodness. Guess who I'm thinking about? I want to know about you and Carrie Hilson before we get into that,
I
right?
love her.
Because, Carrie Hilson, Melanie Fiona, Ari Lennox, like you literally have some of the best artists. When you're selecting the collaborations, do you choose the artist based on the voice or the status of the artist? Because you need records to sell, you want to get popular people. How do you select each and every one of these ladies?
It all comes down to the music. It all comes down to the melody. Sometimes there's a song that is already complete. And now, as not only the songwriter, but the producer, it's my job to think, okay, what timbre, what cadence, what tone, what level of vulnerability or strength in which voice is going to elevate this song or take it out of the vibe that I'm trying to go for. And the song dictates that. There are other times where the song is not written. And so I need to figure out, okay, so-and-so said yes to this project. I ain't got no damn song for them yet. The process is a really interesting metaphysical one, really, because before the song is even written, I just need to go somewhere quiet and imagine that artist and imagine their voice, or even listen to their voice through some universal alchemy, like understand their emotional and vocal statement.
Yes.
And once that happens, it's magic. It's like a melody will start to come and it'll be like, oh, that's their song. And so you hurry up and you get it down as quick as you can. I actually did that with Corinne Bailey Rae, but the story turned out differently. For Corinne Bailey Rae, I've always been a fan of hers, and for whatever reason, when I did my whole psychedelic lava lamp metaphysical thing I just described,
Yes.
I heard her tone, and her tone is just so beautifully vulnerable and real to me. This Spanish bolero song came out of nowhere. I don't speak a lick of Spanish up in here, but all of a sudden I heard the Spanish guitar and this orchestra, and the strings, and I was like, oh my God, Corinne Bailey Rae's voice on this type of music, which I've never heard her do before, would be incredible. And so I demoed the song and sent it to her, and she was so lovely. She heard the song. Eric, I love this song. It's lovely, but I don't think it's for me. So now I got this Spanish-ass song, which I was in love with, and I've found, thanks to my good friend David Foster, whenever you're in a creative jam, it's good to have a legendary producer in your back pocket to say, what do I do now? And I called David, and I let him hear the song, and he was like, oh, bro, Pia Toscano, call her right now. I'll get her right now. So Pia got on the song. It's called Eres mi vida.
Yes.
Remember I said I don't speak Spanish?
Perfect.
I made that up. I don't even know what that means. Nah, I'm just kidding.
You know.
Eres mi vida is something like love of my life. Please,
And-
Spanish people probably gonna correct me.
And I love it. I was gonna say, Brazilian, UK, it's like this album is global, is universal. Was that intentional to
Yeah,
infuse all of these sounds with majority of American musicians to challenge them?
Yeah, I think that it is part of the nature of whatever it is that makes up my creative recipe, because going back to my mom and dad and growing up in the household I did as the baby of all of these musical siblings, and my father who had this extensive classical music collection, and my mom who was the representative of gospel music, and my siblings were in love with everything from jazz fusion to rock to Luther to P-Funk to Brazilian jazz. So I think if I'm in my natural habitat creatively, I'm gonna have all of those creative branches represented, you know, and I think that's what the Co-Star album kind of represents for me. You brought up the Bossa Nova song. It was like I used to love when I was a young Negro child in 1943 in Milwaukee. I used to.
So silly.
Well, it wasn't 43. It was, but I'm old enough to remember the 60s, by the way.
I remember the 60s
No,
and
you
I wasn't
don't.
there.
You
Yes, I
wasn't.
do. Anybody that can
You
research
barely
something.
remember 1999.
It was a hot summer then. A lot of hits. And you were on fire. Want to tap into that song like you talked about. One song that stood out was the Southern Pride.
Woo!
And Southern Pride, dealing with racism. Tell me about that record and the purpose of it.
Where's the confessional camera? One person who is not on this album, who I asked to be on this album, who said she would, which would have made my life complete, Shaka Khan.
Don't say it to me. Say the name.
Shaka Khan, Shaka Khan, Shaka. You said you would be on my record, Shaka,
Ooh.
so I ain't done with you yet. It
He's
may not be this
Clock
record,
and tea. You.
may not be this record, but I'm gonna get you on one record, Shaka. But anyway,
You standing on business.
Shaka, she said, I'll get on your record, Eric. Like, let me hear something. And she told me, she said, as long as it's funky and it means something. I went into my whole little place of rumination, and when she said it needs to mean something, I thought about my mom and dad, and I thought about what must it have been like in the 1950s to escape the kind of racism that was rampant in the 50s in Alabama, to run to a safer haven of a less dangerous, but just as pervasive racism in the North. And so I wrote this song called Southern Pride. And I let Shaka hear it. She said she loved it, but it was the same kind of Corinne Bailey Rae thing. And so now I wrote this song that only Shaka could sing. And I'm thinking, who the hell is gonna be able to sing this? So I reached out to a friend of mine who is just a freak of nature, musically, instrumentally, vocally, Judith Hill. She stuck her
left toe in it.
all up in that thing.
Oh, man. Look, you got me hitting a note. You're the boss. No major record label. You are the boss. You are the creator. Is it a lighter feel?
It's definitely liberating, but with age comes awareness. I may own the label, but I also know my limitations. My strengths are creativity and sometimes comedy on social media.
Now listen, I got a single out there with a little lady by the name of Carrie Hilson. The song is called Can't Wait. Man, it's a nice little two-step and R&B joint just in time for the summer.
Running a label and all of the minutia and the managerial and all the skills needed to do that ain't me. Eric is an idea person. Eric is a creative person. So yes, it's a great feeling to have the autonomy of a company to be able to, I want to record a song in Rio with some Brazilian singers, and okay. But it's like, damn, I just paid for that. How are we gonna shoot? But still, it's incredibly empowering, and it's a great position to be in, especially when you've been on the other side of the corporate artist.
Too soon.
Yeah.
Video.
Yeah.
Are you the music director? Are you the creative strategist? What is the process like for your music videos?
I think with every aspect of anything that comes from me creatively, I have to have my hand. Even if I'm not directing it, I gotta kind of sort of be directing the director, which is a nightmare to directors. I'm sorry, that means I probably ain't Martin Scorsese, I can't even say your name, my bad. You probably gonna pick me for a movie now. But
Yes.
So I always need to influence every step of the creative process.
Would you talk about the record label and all of the functionalities? The marketing and social media, you have it down pat because you are a TikTok and social media phenomenon.
Completely by accident.
So tell me about this. How does it feel for you? And do you have a social media person that's telling you what to post in the trends?
I think if somebody was telling me to do that, we should probably lock that person up. But it's interesting because when I was signed to warn a brother, as we used to call it,
You on fire, Eric.
I kind of walked into the office with my little Milwaukee sensibilities on day one, and the Midwest thing about me is very goofy, very personable, kind of what you get when you see me on social media. And I remember the publicity department at Warner Brothers taking a meeting with me and saying, we're gonna market you as this sexy, bohemian, man. So can you tone down the goofy just a little bit, which I never really could. But since 35 years old, I stopped caring about how people perceive me or what they think. And I think social media just gives me a platform to just be who I've always been and not try to put on any facade or guise or anything other than my crazy, mentally challenged self.
Hello, and welcome to Bathtub Chronicles with Eric Benét.
I think people, more so than anything, are attracted to authenticity,
Yes.
which is kind of different from when I started in the industry. It was all about the mystique behind the curtain of the artist. And don't nobody want mystique no more.
Pull back the curtain.
Like, get that mystique out here. Pull that curtain back. What color your drawers is? So it's that kind of vibe.
Final question before I let you out of here, because this album features women.
I love women.
And you love women, and so when we talk about co-stars, in your opinion, Eric Benét, what is the essence of a woman?
The essence of a woman is strength and life and inspiration.
That's it. Oh, man, and you just give so much. And then to have daughters of your own.
Oh, man.
What a true treat. Eric Benét, you are absolutely iconic, and to sit with you has been a pleasure. Thank you so much for pulling up the BT Talks with your girl. You feel me? You feel me? Oh. I was gonna get kissed back, but I didn't want to mess up my lipstick in your hand and everything. Cheering with you.
You're
A cheers
amazing.
to you.
This was fun.
Cheers.